My brothers and sisters, sometimes we sit alone at night and the tears flow without permission. We look at our lives and wonder, why is this happening to me? Why is the solution taking so long? And in those moments, we forget one powerful truth. The one who created your heart knows exactly what is breaking it. You worry because you see the problem. But Allah, Almighty, All-Wise, sees the solution. There are matters you cry about today that Allah has already written the ending for. You just haven't reached that chapter yet. While you are tossing and turning at night, He is already guiding hearts, shifting circumstances, opening doors you don't even know exist. My brothers and sisters, never confuse silence with absence. When Allah is quiet, He is not ignoring you. He is preparing something for you. Sometimes the cure takes time because Allah wants you to grow before He gives. He wants you to learn patience. Strengthen your dua, build reliance upon Him and realize that true peace comes only from Him. If everything came instantly, we would forget Him instantly. Remember this, when you say, Ya Allah, I am struggling, Allah says, I know and I am with you. The worry in your chest, it subsides the moment you surrender it to the one who controls the universe. Tell yourself, if Allah can turn night into day, He can turn my pain into ease. If He can split the sea for Musa, He can split the path for me. Your job is not to figure out how Allah will fix it. Your job is to trust that He will. You may not see the wisdom now, but one day you will look back and say, Alhamdulillah, that things happened exactly the way they did. Because the delay that hurt you was the delay that saved you. So stop worrying. Wipe your tears. You are not alone. Allah has already taken charge of what you fear, already protected you from what you don't see, already softened hearts you thought were unmovable, and already placed your risk where it belongs. All you have to say is, I trust you, Allah, and keep moving. The truth that Allah's knowledge encompasses every pain you carry is one of the most comforting realities a believer can hold on to. Yet it is something we often forget when life becomes heavy. We sometimes imagine that our silent tears, our hidden anxieties, the thoughts that keep us awake at night, or the emotions we bury deep inside will remain unnoticed, unacknowledged, or misunderstood by the world. And perhaps they will. People can only see what you show them. They can only understand what you express. They can only guess, assume, or interpret what you choose to reveal. But Allah does not need you to speak, explain, or clarify. He already knows. He knows the wound before you describe the pain. He knows the fear before you express the worry. He knows the heaviness in your heart, even when you try to smile through it. When you truly internalize that the Lord who created you is fully aware of every detail of your struggle, something inside you softens. The burden does not disappear immediately, but it becomes lighter because you are no longer carrying it alone. Think about it. Every tear you've cried in private was seen by Him. Every moment you wondered whether you could continue, He witnessed. Every whisper of dua you made under your breath, thinking it might be too small or insignificant, was heard clearly by the one who misses nothing. Sometimes you may even feel embarrassed to complain to Allah because you think your problems are too many or too repetitive. Yet He never tires of hearing your voice. He never gets frustrated with your repeated requests. He never treats your pain as insignificant. There are days when you feel overwhelmed and words don't come out properly. You sit on your prayer mat and your mind is scattered. Your heart feels disconnected and your emotions are tangled in ways you can't articulate. Even in that state, Allah knows exactly what you need. Your silence in dua is not confusion. It is still a form of worship. Your tears are not weakness. They are a sign that your heart is alive and turning back to its Creator. Sometimes you don't need to say anything at all because Allah understands what your heart is saying far more clearly than your tongue ever could. Many of us go through experiences that we don't tell anyone about. Moments of betrayal, sudden losses, disappointments, heartbreaks, financial struggles, mental battles, and spiritual dips. We fear being judged, misunderstood, or burdensome. So we stay quiet, thinking that silence is safer. But even in your silence, Allah knows. He knows whether your heart is trembling with fear or your mind is racing with negative thoughts. He knows when you pretend to be strong for the people around you while internally begging for relief. He knows your needs before you even recognize them yourself. When something hurts you so deeply that you don't know how to move forward, Allah knows the full story. Not the version you can explain, not the portion you can understand, but the full reality. He knows the past that shaped you, the present that challenges you, and the future that awaits you. He knows which moments broke you, which words wounded you, and which experiences left scars on your heart. And His knowledge is not merely awareness, it is knowledge wrapped in wisdom, mercy, and compassion. He does not just know what you feel, He understands it with divine precision and responds to it with divine mercy. Imagine someone who knows everything about you, your fears, hopes, secrets and weaknesses, and still chooses to love you more than you love yourself. That is Allah. He does not love you because you are perfect. He loves you because He created you. And His mercy is far greater than your flaws. So when you feel like no one understands, remind yourself that Allah does. When you feel invisible, remind yourself that Allah sees you. When you feel unheard, remind yourself that Allah hears you. When you feel lost, remind yourself that Allah knows the way for you even when you do not. His knowledge of your pain is not passive. It is not like someone watching from a distance. When Allah knows that your heart is aching, He is already preparing comfort for you. When He sees that you're struggling, He is already guiding you toward relief. His awareness is not detached, it is active involvement in your life. He knows the right moment to lift you, the right path to guide you, and the right doors to open for you. There are times you may think you've been forgotten, but the truth is Allah has been protecting in ways you haven't even realized. Sometimes the things you wanted but didn't receive were acts of mercy. Sometimes the doors that closed in your face saved you from deeper harm. Sometimes the people who walked away made space for the ones who were meant to stay. Sometimes the slow unfolding of your life is simply Allah's gentle way of preparing you for something better. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by what is happening inside you, remind yourself, even if no one understands, Allah does. Even if no one sees your struggle, Allah does. Even if no one hears your silent cries, Allah does. And the one who knows is the same one who heals. The same one who tests is the one who protects. The same one who withholds is the one who gives. And He never ever leaves you alone in your pain. Every delay from Allah holds a hidden mercy, though in the moment it may feel like confusion, disappointment, or even rejection. Human beings are naturally impatient. We want immediate answers, instant relief, quick resolutions. When we make dua, we expect the response to arrive in the form and timing we imagine. And when it doesn't, we begin to question, why is it taking so long? Why is nothing changing? Why does everyone else seem to move forward while I remain stuck? But what we forget is that Allah's timing is not based on our emotions. It is based on His perfect wisdom. He sees what we cannot see. He knows what we do not know. He protects us from things we don't even realize we need protection from. Sometimes the delay we complain about is actually the shield that saves us. Think about moments in your life where you desperately wanted something and later you realized that not receiving it was the best thing that could have happened. At the time, you were convinced that your happiness depended on it, whether it was a job, a relationship, a move, an opportunity, or a plan you built your life around. You prayed for it, planned for it, imagined it, and perhaps even cried for it. But Allah held it back. And at that time, that delay felt painful. It felt like your life was on pause. But later, you saw the bigger picture. What you thought was good for you would have harmed you, weakened your faith, distracted your heart, or pushed you in a direction that was never meant for you. This is how Allah works. His delay is not a denial, it is a gentle redirection. He withholds because He knows the unseen. Imagine a child running towards something dangerous because it looks attractive. The parent quickly stops the child, and the child cries, not understanding why something so appealing is being taken away. But the parent sees what the child cannot. In a far more perfect and merciful way, Allah sees the harm hidden behind what you desire. You cry for something limited while He prepares something far better, something long-lasting, something that brings true peace rather than temporary excitement. When Allah delays the arrival of blessings, He is also teaching you about yourself. He builds your patience, strengthens your resilience, and deepens your connection with Him. Through waiting, He teaches you to rely on Him, not on timelines, not on people, not on circumstances. Through delay, He cleans your heart of hurried expectations and fills it with trust. You begin to understand that your timeline is not superior to His, and your understanding of what is best is limited. The longer you wait with faith, the stronger your Iman becomes, and that strengthening is itself a hidden mercy. Sometimes, Allah delays a blessing because you are not ready for it yet. If it arrived earlier, it might overwhelm you or slip through your fingers. When you ask for something, Allah may say yes, but in His own time. When your heart is mature, when your character is refined, when your intentions are pure, when your faith is firm. The blessing you seek may be ready for you, but Allah may be making you ready for the blessing. And preparation takes time. Just as a seed cannot become a tree overnight, your life cannot transform without seasons of growth. Delays are not empty gaps. They are fertile periods where Allah shapes your character and prepares you for what He has written for. There are moments when Allah delays to elevate you spiritually. When you are forced to wait, you turn to Him more often, your dua becomes deeper, and your sincerity increases. A heart that is humbled through waiting becomes capable of recognizing blessings when they finally arrive. Without delay, you might take ease for granted. But when you've tasted difficulty, relief feels sweeter and you appreciate every small gift. This gratitude itself is part of the hidden mercy. Allah's delay can also be a protection from arrogance. Imagine if every dua of yours was answered instantly. You might begin to believe that blessings come from your own effort, your own intelligence, your own plans. Waiting reminds you that you are not the one in control, that everything you receive comes from Allah's grace, not your ability. This realization protects your heart from pride, which is a spiritual disease far more dangerous than any material setback. Sometimes the delay is there because the blessing you seek depends on the movement of many other events. Things involving other people, other circumstances, or other decisions. Allah is aligning hearts, adjusting situations, and softening paths in ways you cannot see. While you feel like nothing is happening, everything is happening behind the scenes. Allah is orchestrating a solution that will unfold at the perfect moment. If it came earlier, it would not fit. If it came later, it might be missed. It comes exactly when Allah decrees. The hidden mercy in delay is also found in the peace that eventually comes. When Allah finally grants you what you prayed for, you will often look back and say, now I understand why it took so long. You will realize that the timing was perfect. The way everything fell into place was miraculous, and the outcome was far better than anything you could have planned for yourself. And in that moment, you will feel grateful that Allah's wisdom prevailed over your impatience. So the next time you feel something is delayed, remind yourself that Allah is not depriving you. He is protecting you, preparing you, and arranging something better for you. His delay is a sign of His love, not His distance. His timing is perfect, even when your understanding is limited. And His plan is beautiful, even when the process feels difficult. Trust Him, for every pause in your life carries a hidden mercy waiting to unfold. Worry is one of the heaviest burdens a human heart can carry. It is a weight that clouds the mind, weakens the soul, and robs us of the peace that Allah intends for His servants. Every one of us has experienced moments when our hearts raced with anxiety, when our thoughts spiraled out of control, and when fear of the unknown seemed stronger than our faith. But the truth is that worry is not a solution. It does not change the circumstances, and it does not add a single moment of benefit to our lives. On the contrary, it drains us, distracts us, and distances us from the one who is fully capable of solving our problems. The key to overcoming worry lies in turning to Allah with complete trust, placing our reliance in Him, and letting our hearts rest in the knowledge that He is in control. When we worry excessively, we act as if the responsibility for solving our problems lies solely on our own shoulders. We forget that Allah is the all-powerful, the all-knowing, the one who manages the affairs of the universe with perfect wisdom. Our anxieties, no matter how consuming, cannot add or remove a single outcome unless Allah wills it. By holding on to worry, we are essentially doubting His knowledge, His wisdom, and His power. We think that our perspective is more accurate than the Creator's, that our plans are better than His plans, and that our timing is more perfect than His timing. And yet every single thing that happens in the universe, from the orbit of the planets to the beating of a butterfly's wings, is under His command. How can we, limited and fragile, believe that worry will somehow improve upon His perfect control? Tawakkul, or reliance upon Allah, is the antidote to worry. It is not a passive state of waiting. It is an active trust that everything that happens is under His knowledge and control. When we place our reliance in Allah, we acknowledge that our power is limited, that our understanding is incomplete, and that our hearts and minds are in the hands of the one who knows best. Tawakkul is not about giving up effort. It is about combining effort with trust. We plan, we work, we strive, but we do so with the certainty that the outcome rests with Allah. This combination of action and trust is what lightens the heart and brings peace to the soul. When worry tries to invade, reliance reminds us that nothing escapes Allah's knowledge and nothing occurs without His permission. There is a profound beauty in realizing that worry is unnecessary because Allah is always aware of our struggles. Every fear, every insecurity, every unknown factor that keeps us awake at night is already seen by Him. He does not sleep, He does not forget, and He does not ignore. When we acknowledge this reality, we begin to understand that our anxious thoughts are futile. While we are preoccupied with what ifs and maybes, Allah is already orchestrating the circumstances of our lives in the most precise and merciful way. Every difficulty we face, every obstacle that seems insurmountable is already within His plan, and He knows the best timing, the best resolution, and the best path for us. The more we internalize this, the more our hearts become calm, and the more our minds become free from unnecessary fear. Worry also weakens the heart because it distracts us from what is truly important, our connection with Allah. When we are consumed by fear and anxiety, we forget to turn to Him in dua, in remembrance, and in gratitude. We become preoccupied with imagining the worst case scenarios, questioning our worth, and planning for contingencies that may never happen. This mental and emotional exhaustion distances us from spiritual nourishment. On the other hand, reliance upon Allah strengthens the heart. It is like a spiritual exercise that expands patience, deepens trust, and brings tranquility. A heart that relies on Allah is a heart that can face trials without despair, that can endure challenges without collapse, and that can remain hopeful even when circumstances seem bleak. Another reason worry is harmful is that it often focuses on things beyond our control. We spend energy fretting over outcomes, people's actions, and future events that we cannot influence. Yet when we shift our focus toward reliance on Allah, we redirect that energy toward productive action, sincere dua, good deeds, and positive effort. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, we begin to take steps that are meaningful while trusting that the results are in Allah's hands. This balance between effort and trust is what transforms a life of constant anxiety into a life of peace, purpose, and spiritual strength. Consider also that worry is often rooted in a lack of faith, even a slight one. It is the whisper that says, what if things don't go my way? What if I fail? What if I am abandoned? Yet the believer who trusts Allah knows that failure is never final, loss is never absolute, and abandonment is impossible when the Creator is by your side. Life's difficulties become tests and opportunities rather than sources of despair. When we rely on Allah, worry does not vanish instantly, but its grip loosens and our hearts learn to rest in His wisdom. Finally, reliance on Allah reminds us that the outcomes we fear may not even be the best path for us. Sometimes our worries revolve around what we desire most, but Allah knows better than we do what is beneficial and what is harmful. What we fear might be exactly what we need, and what we long for might be withheld because it would hurt us. By trusting Allah, we acknowledge that His perspective is infinite, His mercy is immense, and His solutions are wiser than anything we can imagine. Worry fades when we understand that every event, every delay, every challenge, and every blessing is part of His perfect plan. So, when worry begins to creep into your mind and heart, remind yourself, worry weakens the heart, but reliance strengthens it. Anxiety may cloud your vision, but trust clears it. Fear may paralyze your actions, but tawakkul empowers them. Every problem, every trial, every difficulty you face is already within the knowledge of Allah, and every solution is already in motion, even if you cannot see it. Let your heart rest in Him. Place your reliance fully upon Him. Work with sincerity, pray with devotion, and leave the results to Allah. In this way, your soul finds peace and worry no longer holds dominion over your life. Trials in life are inevitable, and every person will face moments of difficulty, loss, confusion, and hardship. Yet the way we perceive these trials determines how they shape us. Many people see trials as punishments, as burdens they must bear without purpose, or as obstacles that unfairly interrupt their plans. But in reality, trials are invitations, divine invitations, to return to Allah, to reconnect with Him, and to strengthen our hearts in ways that ease and prosperity cannot. Life is not meant to be a smooth path free from challenges. It is meant to be a journey in which our hearts are polished, our faith is tested, and our character is refined. Every trial, no matter how painful, carries a lesson, an opportunity, and a hidden blessing. When a difficulty enters your life, it is easy to feel abandoned, to ask, why me? Or why now? But these questions assume that hardship is inherently negative. In truth, hardship has the potential to be profoundly transformative. Trials force us to confront our weaknesses, our fears, and our reliance on the material world. They expose where our hearts have grown attached to comfort, control, or human approval rather than to Allah. When faced with these challenges, a believer is called to turn inward, to reflect, and to seek Allah's guidance. A trial may shake us, but it also has the power to strengthen us when we respond with patience, perseverance, and trust. One of the reasons trials are so vital is that they remind us of our dependence on Allah. Human beings often take their strength, their resources, and their abilities for granted. We plan, strategize, and strive, and we forget that every breath, every opportunity, and every success comes from Him. When a trial strikes, it disrupts our illusions of self-sufficiency. We realize that we cannot control everything, that some outcomes are beyond our grasp, and that our only true refuge is Allah. This realization, though sometimes uncomfortable, is a mercy. It teaches humility, dependence, and sincerity, qualities that cannot be cultivated in uninterrupted ease. Trials also serve as a means to elevate the soul. They refine our intentions, remove hypocrisy, and cultivate sincerity in worship. When everything is easy, it is tempting to worship Allah out of habit, routine, or social expectation. But when life becomes difficult, worship transforms into a lifeline. Dua becomes heartfelt, prayer becomes sincere, and remembrance of Allah becomes necessary.